Well, it happens sometimes on TV. It is a reality show, so sometimes we have these glitches. Forgive us, but we are back again on your TV screens. This is TV3 New Day, and this morning our very own Duke is joining us here from the newsroom because some conversations are very rife. This morning, the NPP, the New Patriotic Party, is embarking on their series of vettings for their MPs or for their personnel or party members or aspirants who are seeking to enter Parliament come 2025. And as we've been told, about 18 prominent MPs on the side or the ticket of the NPP are not returning to Parliament. And the worry is that they are moving away with such wealth of experience in Parliament. Who are the replacements going to be? Starting off this morning with the veterans. Duke is here to join us. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, Cookie.
How are you?
I'm all right. Good to be here.
Looking very sharp this morning.
Yeah, looking sharp this morning.
Thank you. In the spirit of the new year.
Yeah. Wishing you all the very best. It's going to be a hectic year for all of us and for you as well. Because of the elections, you would have to be bringing us updates all year round. So more grace and more grease to you.
Amen.
I hope that we can, oil on your head. I hope that we can carry it through. But before we even get to the vetting this morning on the side of the NPP now, we mentioned early on that some members, some very prominent members with such great experience in Parliament are not returning. One of the big ones is what we're going to be having on screen right now. We're going to go through a number of them, but this one is huge. We are starting with Honorable Oseiche Mensah Bonsu. Now, he is MP for Suwame. Now, he's also majority leader and also Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. He entered Parliament a long time ago when I was a child in 1997. And reason, I think, or many people are saying he's not returning to Parliament is because he's tipped as a possible running mate. Well, you remember some time ago he came to say that no, it wasn't. It was for no reason as such, and that he himself thinks that it is time to bow and all that. You remember, don't you?
Yes, nobody has crossed that 26th year Rubicon
in the history of our Parliament.
Yes, Bagbin was in a similar throes the last time out.
Exactly.
I mean, stars. God's grace shined upon him when he decided to step aside.
And they called him back
to become. He got the nod to become the Speaker of the House. So I mean, he will be on that same level with Oseiche Mensah Bonsu, who has also decided to call it quits. Maybe he's read the room. He's not necessarily enjoyed the best of approval ratings, if you like, even though it's not
in his last
constituency.
Days, right?
I mean, last year we saw there was almost I wouldn't say a mob attack, but people in his constituency reacted,
they were pelting stones at him.
Especially with the nature of roads in his constituency. But he is one of the greatest. He doesn't have formal legal training, but he's one of the best minds when it comes to parliamentary procedure anywhere in Africa, if I may not be exaggerating, as he's vice president for the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. And I mean, it's a delight to see him going through the process of crafting law, even though he's not a lawyer. I mean, just for the sake of satisfying his conscience, maybe when he goes away, he should find some time to do a law degree. He'll be a great lawyer. Yes, and he does his work so effortlessly. I think he's one of those who really believe in the lawmaking mandate of a member of parliament as opposed to the enforced development mandate on them. MPs are not development agents, truly so-called. They're supposed to be making laws. The DCs are the ones who are supposed to be doing that. But because of our system and how well developed it is, and because of, it's also due to their own fault. They go about promising roads and hospitals when you know that you just have only
it's not your
meager common fund and lobbying to be able to do those things. So, I mean, I do not begrudge them, but he's a great lawmaker. It's just that, I mean, at a point in time, you need to take a bow, really. And we haven't gotten to the point in the Americas and in the UK where you have the father of the house. He may have been there for about 40 years. He's still there. He has institutional memory when he gets up to speak. The UK is the likes of Ted Kennedy in the US and the rest. When they get up to speak, you know that he's been there for 20, 30, 40 years, and he knows what he's talking about. But especially in the Ashanti region, I may not have conducted a scientific poll on this, but voter fatigue sets in. Once you have first term, second term, people begin to feel that where the BIA corner.
But he's gone 7 times.
Yes, yes.
Still where the BIA?
Literally. Like if you have been, you have been in the seat for a while.
So it's time for you to
let someone.
But what does his exit mean for Parliament and for the party?
It means that you don't have someone who has Parliament is like a school. When you get in there for the very first time, for the members of Parliament, you have to learn the ropes of. You have to learn the. You have to understand and imbibe the rules book, the standing orders.
Yeah.
You need to understand the standing orders. So if you have an issue, you just don't get up and say that, Mr. Speaker, I have this and this and this. No, if there is an urgent matter in your house, you get up. You are coming under 71. Which is the order which stipulates that if there is an urgent issue in your constituency, you can raise it on an urgent issue in the country. So this issue of the Dr. Dampare matter, Deputy Minority Leader Amabua got up or raised the issue under Order 71, which is for urgent issues. You need to understand all of these things. If the vote is not going your way, there is an order you invoke to call for a division of the House, where each and every member of the House will go and vote. You need to understand all these proceedings.
And it takes time.
It takes time. It takes time and commitment. I mean, there are first-timers, people like Roxanne, I'll always mention his name, Dafia Mapo, yes. I mean, even when he came in his first term, in a matter of months, maybe sometimes the legal training also, Roxanne is one of them. On the side of the urban, he lost and is out of the House. Patrick Womenko, even in their first term, immediately they got in the, by dint of maybe applying themselves, or maybe sometimes their legal training helps them. Quickly, they're able to, marking as well, quickly pick up the, understanding of the rules, and then they're able to hold their own. Otherwise, people are there 4 years, they don't even know how to move a motion. The chairman of committees I've seen, they can't even move a motion, and they've been there for 3 terms, 4 terms.
So someone like him who has all this institutional knowledge and all the experience
is going away.
But was there a succession plan to be able to retain?
Long short, who's there is Katie Hammond.
Okay.
I don't know if he'll be made the majority, he'll be made the leader, I mean, depending on whether they are majority or minority. Or Afenyo Markin he's also able to hold his own. He's the deputy leader now. Age is on his side, youth is on his side. I don't know the kind of permutations that will go in there, but whether there's a clear succession plan, we'll know that. For instance, someone like the late Dr. Antonio Akoto said, God bless his soul, before he left Parliament, or even he ensured that he started training people like Dr. Asibe. Right. He's also lost and left Parliament as well. One of the best, in my view, one of the best chairman of the Finance Committee Parliament has ever seen. Yes, he also lost it. But he immediately came in. He took it upon himself to train them in some of these things, so that when they are not around, you have a new crop of people who are coming. I'm sure Chairman Sir has not been talking about leaving Parliament now. He spoke about it a long time ago. So I'm sure he's done something like that. He has people that he's training in his own right to be able to do the work. Once you express interest in the real legislative work, there are people who are willing to hold your hand and teach you. But you stand the real risk of enjoying the work of Parliament so much so to the detriment of your constituency, which is something that I think affected someone like the Okakweno gentleman, Hussein Nisa, and a number of others. So you need to strike that delicate balance between doing your work on the floor of Parliament and being able to still meet the needs of your constituents. Because at the end of the day, you are not in Parliament because you have won an exalted seat. You are there because your constituents have voted for you. So you need to strike that delicate balance. Very important.
Anyway, so Asin Central is one of the constituencies to look out for, especially in the elections this year, and especially for the primaries on the 27th of January on the ticket of the NPP. Now, this man occupied a very huge role last year, 2023. He was an aspirant to actually becoming a flag bearer of the NPP, and we saw how much of a run he gave them, the other aspirants, for their money. Asin Central MP, Honorable Kennedy Ejapong, is not returning to Parliament. Now, he was chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee. He entered Parliament in the year 2000, and he contested and placed second in the NPP primaries, as I hinted earlier. Now, Duke, this constituency is the huge one to look out for.
It is.
Especially through the vetting process all the way to the 27th. I'm looking forward to see who replaces Kennedy Ejapong.
It's interesting. I mean, he will be not a real political mind to try and get someone who has his blessings to replace him. I'm sure he's worked this out, his machinations. Even though he may also, don't forget, his brother is also is in the contest of his life in Bantama. His younger brother, who was on his campaign team, lawyer Ralph Japan, is contesting Francis and Suboachi in Bantama. Yes, so I'm probably he's not dropping the ball on that. He's trying to focus on those two things at the same time, those two contests at the same time, trying to ensure that someone who may have his blessings wins to continue with what he's done, and then also ensuring that his brother wins that race in the Bantama constituency. Never mind the fact that the president has already anointed Asenso Boakye to continue to do the work.
Anointed?
Yes, he was in the constituency, last year, and indicated that the constituents of Bantama should vote for Asenso Boakye, who is more or less like, the president calls him the son he never had. So he's long-standing political aide up until now. So Kennedy, he's also been there for chairman, not only defense and interior. He's been chairman of local government, chairman of local government. He's been communications chairman, and then now defense and interior committee. From 2000, he's had his imprint large on the constituency. People forget that he is the brain behind the Oyomi scandal. If you know, 2012 was such a big deal. He poured through the Public Accounts Committee reports and then blew it up on the floor of Parliament. It became an election issue. And
what does his exit mean?
Well, Kennedy's exit means that, for me, behind the scenes, he is more or less like a very peaceable power broker, and the NPP people go to him when they need to go to him. Again, and that's one of the things that he got angry about. Behind the scenes, he's financed the election bid of so many of his colleagues in Parliament. That's why at a point he got so incensed that most of them could not boldly come out to support him, Because there are some of them, people like himself, Brian Champon and the rest, who, as in the run-up to the prime, I don't know now that he's not running again, I don't know if they will go back to him, but there are people who talk to him, support me here and there with some T-shirts, with some street lights, and that kind of thing.
And he will do that
for them. So I don't know now that he's not running, whether he may do it for some of his trusted friends, but hey, he's someone who controls the central region, and we saw it in the results that came during the primary. Damboche, another very
he's also bowing out of
seasoned politician from Okre. He's been in Parliament since 2009. Started up young upstart as the general secretary. It's only Justin Kodua who's beating his record. He was in his 40s when he became the general secretary of the NPP.
Can we see the slide for that?
Yes, masterminded the NPP's win of that crucial election 2000. We had never seen a change before that. But he was the general secretary, together with the likes of Odoi Sykes, masterminded the exit of the NDC in 2000. And he's been there.
Positive change.
Yes, positive change. Yes, and he's been there for some time now. Since 2009, he's decided, I didn't see this coming, because he's still very full of life, but he decided to take an exit backstage for the people of Okre to join. With this wealth of experience, he may find a seat on the Council of Elders of the NPP, but maybe he will put it at his disposal. He will put himself at the disposal of Parliament to be able to tap from his knowledge and from politics. I think
it was an important question Cookie asked you about succession. Is there really no, should I call it mentorship plan, for young MPs who come into Parliament? Because if you have to wait a year, 2 or 3 to learn all the ground rules and all of these things before you actually are able to start making a real impact, then perhaps that's not a good use of your time in Parliament.
Yes, but now the truth is there may not be an established form of mentorship. What exists are that when you get into Parliament, the committees are the real places for growth. So, for instance, if you're an architect, we have 2 architects in Parliament now. We have all of them are on the NDC side. We have Gisela Abotri, Tete, and then Kwame Abuja, my minority chief whip. So, if you happen to have that professional competence, you obviously be on the roads and transport committee. It is in that area that, based on your knowledge or your professional qualification, you get to then learn how the committee does its work on the floor of Parliament. But when you come in, all of them are given an orientation, basically general orientation about the work of Parliament, standing orders, etiquette, all those things. But you have to then decide to commit yourself to learning the real ropes of the trade. And then also talk to some of the elderly, well, people who have been in parliament for a while, to understudy them, to meet with them, to get that form of mentorship. That exists. I know, for instance, Honorable Chairman Sabos has mentored people from both sides of the house. President Akufo-Addo talks about how Dominic Nitiwu, who went into parliament as a 25-year-old, he's now a defense minister. He was then teaching in Bimbila. He won the by-election to go into parliament, and how Dominic Nitiwu approached him one morning after a session to begin some form of mentorship under him. Today, Akufo-Addo is president. He's defense minister. So those things exist, and it depends on how much you want to learn fast and get a hold and grasp of the parliamentary procedures, processes, and how to the maneuverings. Yeah. So even though they may not be an established form of mentorship, all those key lines to learn exist.
I'm sure they are.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyway,
let's
moving on to Joe Wise.
Yes. Yeah.
Joseph Osei Owusu, MP for Bekwai, Deputy Speaker of Parliament, former CEO of Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority. He entered Parliament in 2009, and he's also one of the people who's been tipped as possible running mate to Dr. Bawumia. Duke, this one is also heavy.
Yes, very, very heavy.
This one is heavy.
Yes, and he's one of those who hit the ground running. People forget that he entered Parliament as an independent candidate. He did, yes.
Still in Bekwai?
In Bekwai, yes.
Okay.
And in the groundswell of 2008, the kind of divisions that led the NPP into opposition, a number of established party candidates who lost their parliamentary primary because they were in position of candidates and others decided to go independent. So the likes of Forikra go in Bosmefra and when others decided to go independent. And he won his seat, came into parliament, decided to caucus with the NPP. He was on the appointments committee. There are some committees that if they don't see the prospect in you, you would never join.
You would never
appointments committee, public accounts committee, finance committee, foreign affairs committee. These 4 committees.
You must be really prominent.
As a first timer, you must show a lot of prospects, a lot of promise to be able to get onto these committees. Okay. He got onto the appointments committee.
In his first year?
In his first term, yes, okay. as member of parliament. And he's been rising. The next term, in his second term, he was ranking member on constitutional, legal, and parliamentary affairs.
What's
more or
his
less
professional
like he's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer.
He's a legal practitioner. Yeah, he's a lawyer.
All right.
So that's him. He's there, and there will be a keen competition in his constituency for who will replace him. You remember COP George Alex Mensah?
Yes.
You remember him?
Yes.
Yes, he's in the battle of his life for that.
Yes.
For that seat.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes, and then there's another lawyer who has contested him before.
Do we have the schedule for the vetting?
Yes.
Yes. When is his vetting?
It's starting today.
Yeah, when is COP's... do we have a schedule for the vetting? So do we
know for the constituencies, yes, they have done that, but they have not... There is one in the Ashanti region, yes.
Today.
Yeah, okay. But it's not clear whether it will be known this morning whether he will go today or tomorrow.
Is it going to be streamed? Can people watch? I know we haven't come to the vetting conversation yet. Some of them are.
From what I witnessed with the NPP vetting in Greater Accra in the what's it called? In the orphan constituencies, I mean, journalists were not even allowed into the room for the vetting.
Yes.
So it's done by the vetting panel. If they are going to go by the same structure, then it will not be public. You can only speak to him.
We'll just hear the results.
Yeah. You only talk to him when he's exited the vetting. Why?
Because it will be interesting.
But we are interested. We want to
know.
And
it's public. Why?
Exactly.
It's public
information. These are people who are going to be
Political parties are private organizations, first of all, before they get into...
But there are people who are going to serve us.
Yes.
In public offices.
Yes.
So this should be public.
So we must know. We should know.
Now, is there any reason why you think...
Oh. Okay, let's move to Samuel Atachia.
So it will be interesting, I mean, for someone who was before a parliamentary committee to, in a few months, win and then be joining parliament. Yes, so that is...
He also has experience that no member of the House has.
Which experience?
Being before a parliamentary committee.
I know, right?
Interesting, yes. I didn't see this coming.
You didn't see it coming?
At all.
Why didn't you see it coming? You thought he had some more time?
Yes, Atachia, he didn't really make it clear. 2009, well, that I remember. I know that's quite, I mean,
recent
number of years. I mean, quite recent compared to the 2000s and the
2000s,
guys. And he replaced President Akufo-Addo. That's Akufo-Addo's constituency. And he's decided not to run again. Quite shocking, but there's...
Do we know why?
Well, for some time now, he left government. we were told there were some irreconcilable differences which led to his exit from government. I mean, he was one of in the run-up to President Akufo-Addo trained him as a lawyer in his chambers. He's gone on to do well for himself as a legal practitioner and then also a member of parliament. But being chair of the Mines and Energy Committee is also a big deal, and I think so far he's done his work quite well, even to be recognized by the speaker to have led the IGP committee into the league table. It's also good. He's also someone who has a grasp of the procedures, understands the workings of parliament. And I thought, I mean, he is energetic to have gone for another term, but he decided to go. His constituency is the one that the Registrar of the Scholarship Secretary, Dr. Kingsley Agyemang, is contesting. And then there's also another one woman, I think. So it's going to be interesting. Kingsley Agyemang has been eyeing that seat for quite some time now. So let's see how it pans out in Abakwasa.
This one is the one that I don't understand, honestly. Honorable Kwesi, roads minister. I don't understand because
why don't you understand?
I was hoping that he would have re-established the road tolls before bowing out, number one. And I mean, it was the second year of roads as stipulated by the manifesto of the NPP. So I was really hoping that he would have seen everything through and stayed even in 2025.
The good thing is, he will still be around till the end, so he has one more year.
No, but I wanted him to
come back again.
Yes, in 2025.
It's not a given that the NPP will win the next election.
Come back into power. So he has this year to
finish his work.
Yes,
and
maybe.
But are we sure that all the KMs of road he would be able to finish, re-establish road tolls?
Are we sure of anything?
No, but for the road tolls, I mean, I had a discussion with him.
Okay.
Yes, they will come back. They will come back, but they are trying to digitalize the systems of the tolling
collection
so that money that does not go into the pockets of people. But
digitalization of road tolls.
But the issue
that'll be interesting.
But the issue has got to do with also that fiscally challenged persons were given the contracts to be taking their money.
Yes.
But we are told about close to 30 to 40% of the collections were not finding itself into the road fund, into the government kitty. So if you are going to stop that, taking off the human interface would help.
Yeah.
So that is why, and he's trying to also establish a national road transport authority National Road Authority before he leaves. Before he leaves, yes.
What will the National Road Authority do? I
asked him this question. I had the opportunity to engage him a few days before Parliament. So he was telling me that he thinks that right now there are so many different departments and agencies responsible for the road sector. So there is urban roads, there's feeder roads, there's Ghana Highway Authority. And so there's a lot of apathy. You know that kind of thing where we are all responsible for one thing, but you can't pinpoint. So when there's an issue, this one says it's not mine. This one is not mine. So all they are trying to do is what has been done with GRA. I mean, I'm not fingering GRA this morning.
Just like it was in the frontier issue.
So
Nobody knew who was responsible for what.
But GRA used to be Internal Revenue Service, there was Customs Division, there was VAT, there was all those ones. But they brought all of them together as GRA. Now all of you belong to the same service. If there's anything we can...
So he's dissolving all the various agencies and
departments,
putting
them together as
making them one.
National Road Authority.
Yes,
so that's what it's something. It's a proposal before Parliament.
NRA.
Yes, I wanted to engage him, speak to him, but he's promised me an interview.
And that is one of the things he will do before the elections.
Yes. So Honorable Amakwata, my uncle, I'm reminding you of that interview. Yes.
This gentleman gained so much popularity
for
all the wrong reasons, especially. At the beginning, when the 8th Parliament was being constituted, and if you remember the chewing of ballot papers, unfortunately, it's one of the negative things that he's been tagged with. But MP for Tema West, he's a businessman. He's been in Parliament since 2017, and I'm not sure why Carlos Ahinkra is bowing out of the Trade and Industry Committee as well, and as MP for Tema West. I mean, it was only yesterday that he came in Parliament, 2017. And already in 2025, you're saying goodbye. I don't get it.
I mean, with the kind of...
It's not easy.
Don't forget, the kind of jostling he went through.
And he's quite young.
To become member of Parliament. You remember his contest with Natoshi?
Yeah,
Natoshi, who is now the District Assembly's Common Fund administrator. Was very brutal and then he managed to win.
Yeah.
He almost lost the seat in the last election. It was a very close margin in the 2020 election. Probably he's checked his approval ratings and has decided that it's not prudent for him to run again.
Especially after chewing the ballot papers.
Well, I mean,
I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Did he lose a lot more credibility on ground, and especially with the foot soldiers?
I mean, whatever it is, you know that people, and don't forget, he's been. Remember how he lost his position as deputy, and I mean, sorry, but there's been the exercise of a lot of indiscretions on his part. So he had COVID, he went to a registration center, it blew up, and then he lost his seat. He lost his deputy ministry role at the trade. So much about that. Someone who's done a lot of at the ports, like, and so maybe reading in between the lines, looking through the various what's it called, permutations, decided that it's time to take a bow and not run again. And Tema West, I mean, one of the seats that the NPP comfortably wins, but he would have a lot. He was going to have a lot of competition, internal competition. During internal competition, don't forget about the propaganda. It would definitely have been brought up. Is this someone you want to represent with all the improprieties in parliament? Not impropriety, but with all the skirmishes in parliament, he being involved, you're a member of parliament and all of that. But it's a fine gentleman if you get to engage him. But it's just it just happens that a number of indiscretions may have cost his seat, and then he decided that he would not even run again. He would, I mean, now the consequences.
Well,
now what do we have
so those were some of the prominent MPs, the prominent MPs
18
who are
of them.
bowing out.
Yeah.
So we brought you about 9.
And a lot more, give or take, a lot more will lose. Not a lot more. I mean, I'm not saying a lot more in terms of
some will lose.
Obviously, all of them.
Some who haven't intended to leave will lose
when they go away. I mean, it would be a statistical oddity to have all of them win and come back. Obviously,
we'll have more conversations about what this means for the party, seeing these party heavyweights exit the party, and of course, like Duke said, some might also lose their seats as we go. But starting today, for the next 3 days, there will be parliamentary aspirant vetting for the NPP. Now, I'd like us to look at a spreadsheet of region by region, a breakdown to see how many aspirants are going to be vetted per region. So this is a breakdown of the parliamentary aspirants region by region. The Ashanti region, of course, has 41 constituencies. 137 forms were picked and 126 returned. Running unopposed, 5. For the Eastern region, we have 24 constituencies, 93 forms picked, 85 returned, 1 unopposed. Central region, 10 constituencies, I beg your pardon, 27 forms, 27 returned, 1 unopposed. Western region, 9 constituencies, 25 forms picked, 25 returned, no one is running unopposed. Northern region, 9 constituencies, 15 forms picked, 13 returned, 5 unopposed. The Bono region, we have 5 constituencies, 13 forms picked, 12 returned, 1 unopposed. Bono East, 3 constituencies, I beg your pardon, 5 forms picked, 4 returned, and 2 running unopposed. The Ahafo region, 4 constituencies, 13 forms picked, 9 returned, and 1 unopposed. Upper East region, we have 2 constituencies, 9 forms picked, 9 returned, and no one is running unopposed. Upper West region, 3 constituencies, 5 forms picked, 5 returned, 1 running unopposed. Savannah region, 4 constituencies, 7 forms picked, 7 returned, 3 running unopposed. Volta region, 3 constituencies, 5 forms picked, 5 returned, 1 running unopposed. Western North, 3 constituencies, 9 forms picked, 9 returned, and 0, nobody running unopposed. In the Greater Accra region, we have 14 constituencies, 32 forms picked, 32 returned, and 1 running unopposed. So there's a total of 137 constituencies, 373 forms returned, and 23 aspirants running unopposed. And so basically, they're going to be vetting 373 plus 23. Is that correct?
I have too many questions.
Yes, they are going to.
I have too
No,
many
they are
questions.
going to vet 373.
I have too many questions.
So those running unopposed.
They are part of the forms
of the 373.
Yes.
All
so
right.
400.
Yes.
I'm just on the top of my mischievous head. I'm just calculating the 400 multiplied by the 35,000.
How much the party has made?
35,000
per form
to return the form, and then for those who are not sitting MPs, they paid 40,000 as development fee.
In addition
to the 35,000. So
development fee, what's that?
The cost of nurturing the constituency.
So that's 75,000.
So if you're a new person who is coming in, the cost of the form is 30,000.
35,000.
So 35
so
plus
38,000.
38,000.
Plus the 40,000 if you are not if you are a sitting MP.
So
sitting
that's
MP is
78,000.
Yes.
What is a development fee?
Development fee. When I asked, what I got is the cost of nurturing the constituency.
What does that mean?
Nurturing the constituency, you're supposed to have contributed to the upkeep and the development of the constituency.
So it means that if you want to lead the constituency, you must have contributed somewhat
to it.
Yeah.
And that money goes to where?
The constituency.
The constituency.
Does it go to the constituency?
It goes to the party. We don't know where. I mean, yeah. So and then, so this is for me. It increases
so that's
the cost
times.
It increases the cost of
73.
So at least cash free look.
Yeah.
38,000. That's filing and filing fee and nomination fee. 38,000 times 400.
Right.
I'm worried because Oliver, if you can go back, please, to the first slide that we just read through, you realize that there are just 15 regions. It means that the problem of OT Sao is still existing.
Yeah, but in this case, it's because the NPP has no seat in OT. That's the reason why.
So that's why they've omitted
OT. Yes, and because this is because this is the parliamentary aspirants are for the constituencies where the NPP has seats.
Okay.
Remember they ran the orphan constituencies in December.
Yes.
Yes. So this is the real
So
deal.
these are all the regions
where the NPP has seats. So the NPP has seats in 15 out of the 16 regions.
Okay. So because they don't have an OT, that's why they don't even want to bother at all about OT.
In the voter region, they have one seat, but they didn't run Ketu North and Akachi North during the orphan constituencies. Okay. And they have a seat in Hawaii. So that explains the three that they have there. It's interesting in the Western region, nobody is going on opposed. Another person we didn't mention who is leaving Parliament, Joe Gate.
Yes.
Sad for me. Big Joe will not be returning to Parliament. But hey, Western region, 25 forms picked, 25 forms returned, unopposed. Means
nobody's running unopposed.
No. Contest for everybody, interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think the right thing to do.
How come we have 5 unopposed in the Ashanti region?
Probably did their work well, or they are, most of the time there is a gentleman's agreement in the constituency that for first-term MPs don't contest them because 4 years is not enough for you to be. But hey, and some of them too, they've probably done so well, creditably. I
have a comment about gentlemen's agreements in the party, but I think I should keep it to myself.
Why not? I mean, for many times,
gentlemen's agreements that so this time you support me,
yes,
and then next time I will support you.
And then
eventually,
disappointment, especially.
Yeah. And then if
butterfly is anything to
go
by,
next thing you know,
if butterfly is anything to go by, then we've learned our lessons.
Anyway, so this is the spreadsheet. We've got the names. I don't know if we should go through all of them.
So these are the parliamentary.
Members, right?
So the committees.
The vetting
committees have been set up across the country.
Okay.
So these are the national parliamentary vetting committees for the regions. So in every region, there are a number of committees just to speed up the process of work that has to be done. So for instance, if you can stop at the Western region, for instance, the Western region has only one committee. It will be chaired by lawyer Frank Davis. There is Vera Redu, who is a communicator for the party. And then Dr. Isco Usumensa, who is director of research at the presidencies, will be a member. It will happen at the Kingston Hotel. And they will be vetting 9 aspirants on 9 constituencies. Okay. This is interesting. Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji will be chairing the committee in the Western North. New Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji.
Yes.
Ghana Health Service. I didn't expect to see his name here, but hey, forgive my mischievous mind. Abdul Rahman Fusaini member, Alhaji Abdulaziz Haruna Futa, that's the national coordinator, is there. And then Anna Obribwa, former deputy general secretary, will be chairing the committee in Bono East. He'll be assisted by Dr. Abai Anthony Osei and then Dr. Emmanuel Amankwa. They will be looking at 3 constituencies, the regional party secretariat at Tichiman. And then in the Bono region, FF Anto, long-standing chairman of the party in the Ashanti region, he will be chairing the committee in the Bono region. Eric Asunadio Fosu, and then Matthew Treme are all members who happen at the Himpon Hotel in Sunyani. And they have Region Dr. Nsiasai, Presidential Advisor on Health. He'll be chairing that committee in Hafo. Eric Nkansa is a member. Samuel Akwesi J. And we happen at Ajabis Hotel in Gosu.
Ajabis.
Yeah, Ajabis. Have you been there before?
No.
All right. Eastern Region, Lokome, Director of Operations at the Presidency, will be chairing that committee. Mariam Iramadria and then William and Pemdako are members. In Team B, so they have two teams. Team B will be chaired by Dr. Charles Dramna, who is the treasurer of the party, Emmanuel Senyo, and then Ajay Soa are all members. I think Ajay
so
Soa
let's just skim through some of the major areas.
So maybe we can go to Ashanti.
Greater Accra. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
Greater Accra. I think I saw Henry Nana Boachi's name over there.
So this is Ashanti region.
Yeah.
Henry Nana Boachi,
Yes.
Muhyiddin, Richmond, and Ponsa Ejabing, happening at the Millennium Plaza. Ashanti has 4 teams. Interesting. I mean, there are a number of them. So a number of
Team A, Team B, Team C,
over
and
42
Team D.
constituencies.
Yeah.
41, I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
So let's look
Formina is
at
not
Greater
part.
Accra region.
Yes. So happening at the shelter at Teshi.
When I see Teshi anywhere, I get excited.
Yes.
Okay.
It's home.
Yes.
Madam Kejimfoa, National Women's
Women
Organizer. Yeah.
Isaac J. Nia Marty Height, Deputy Youth Organizer, is a member. And then Kwasi BC. Yeah, and then Honorable Ibrahim Oseidu, interestingly, former MP for Tema West, Carlos Ironquest Tema West.
I know, right? I know.
He is going to be chairing the second committee. Michael Nkitia is then Elizabeth Ajiman. I think he's also a former MP for Ofuikrom, will also be on that committee.
Okay.
So that's it for the. These are the people who will be running the parliamentary vettings, and then they've also established an appeals committee chaired by Honorable Seprempe. So that
what are they supposed to do?
The appeals committee, if you go through the vetting and you are disqualified, so the fact that you've paid the forms and submitted does not mean that
you're
going to run.
Wow.
You can be disqualified. Probably they'll go through, run background checks and find out that, oh, you probably don't meet the constitutional requirement. You probably
haven't paid your dues in so long.
You probably haven't lectured the constituency enough.
Nasikana
Probably don't even live there.
Nasikana Shana.
Are you required to live in the constituency?
Well, there's a Zaneto ruling and then there's a latest court ruling. So the Asen North gentleman, he wasn't living in Asen North.
James
Opoku, Ibrahim Opoku, yes.
Okay.
Not Kwesi. Kwesi was the NDC. I'm talking about the NPP gentleman.
Okay.
He didn't live there.
Right.
Yeah, but he didn't live there.
Right.
So, but he was able to contest. So it's either you come from the constituency or you've lived there for 5 years. But you needn't be a registered voter in the constituency. That's what.
So you must either come from there or live there. Now I'm asking
live there for a number of years.
Okay.
I'm asking because of Honorable Kennedy Japon's brother.
Yeah.
Now he's contesting for a constituency.
Bantama.
Yes.
Ralph is a Kumasi boy.
He's from Kumasi.
Not he grew up there.
In Kumasi.
So he grew up in.
So he lives there.
Yeah. Because his brother is from
Asin.
So I was wondering how he's contesting in Kumasi, but he's lived there.
He's lived there. So if you've lived there for a number of years,
that's it.
You qualify. Or it's your hometown.
Okay.
You qualify.
Either
or, yes. Okay. But you needn't be there's an actual you needn't be a registered voter
over there
before you can contest, which is the issue that was expertise.
All right. So the vetting will take place from today, tomorrow, and 3 days.
Friday.
But we will know if it will be made public or not as the proceedings go.
As for public, I'm not expecting to be made public. People can go there, support when their candidates are done. Of course, the media will be there to interview them, but we will not be. I'm not sure we'll be granted access into the vetting room. If you are disqualified, you can take your matter to the appeals committee chaired by former Deputy Attorney General and MD for Goyle. Kwame Seprempe will be chairing that important committee. So yeah, wish them all the best of luck. In the run up to the January 27th, that's the big day. That's the showdown day.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a current affairs show on TV3 just for the purpose of these conversations. Yes. But we'll bring you more information on that as we go. Stay tuned. You're watching TV3 New Day. When we come back, you can cash out, dial *439# and win some good money to start the new year. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.